Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about masking. Masking we've talked about in the past regarding being able to control parts of an image when you're doing your adjustment layers. In this case, we're going to talk about masking as a way of hiding parts of an image and being able to use that area for something else. Particularly like if you're going to replace parts of an image with another image. So in this case, for our assignment, we're using this particular skyline image here, and instead of this blue sky, we're going to actually put a sky with clouds in it and replace it. So as always, I always want to make a duplicate layer just in case something happens. The original background that comes in with the file is going to be my backup, and then the copy is one I'm going to kind of work on. And one thing I want you to kind of remember is, like, we're not cutting anything. We're just going to hide it using a mask, much like a Halloween mask where you hide your face. You're hiding parts of an image and revealing what you want to see or what you want to change. So in this is, I made a copy of this, and I want to stick into a folder as always because I want my work to be separated from the original. So using this particular layer here, we're just going to make a mask, and I want to, there's two ways to make a mask. Actually, there's multiple ways to make a mask. There's two popular ways to make a mask. I want to show you the way that I kind of started, how I started in Photoshop. And I like to zoom in really close because this is requires a little bit of a detail work. And I'll start right here in this lower corner. And I want to use my polygon tool, the polygon tool with the the polygon tool, because it's straight lines, because I chose this image because there's a lot of straight lines. And I want to lay one down. Whoops. And I'm just going to kind of make my way around the image a little bit. I do like to zoom in close because I want to be able to see the difference between the building and the sky. Oftentimes, if I were to do it this far out, you say, oh, I can just, eyeball that and get that pretty close there. And if I were to zoom in a little bit and examine it even closer, you can see I kind of missed there. That line is off the building, and it's not going to show right. But I'm going to go ahead and go with it like this for right now. And again, it's something you might want to think about is do this in sections. So if I were to double click right here, it would immediately go back to the beginning of the line, or the line. So I'm just going to do that. And then you can see that I have this kind of this area is selected. Everything in the middle is going to change, but the outside is not going to change at all. And I always often like doing it this way because I can do it in sections, and then I can just add to it by holding down the shift key and coming back, and then coming back around again. And again, it's a lasso, so you have to kind of loop it back around to the beginning of the line, or the lasso line, and double click, and then it expands upon it. So this is the way that you don't go all the way around and lose everything. So it's kind of just do it in pieces. Again, come back around, make a full circle. And for the sake of time, I'm going to just kind of do a very chop job, so that way we can get to see the essence of what we're doing here. And ultimately, I would go around the entire document to include everything. Whoops. And that's what happens if you don't hold down the shift key. You lose your line, but you can always go undo. Luckily for the history panel over here, you can come back to different stages of your steps and reclaim that. But I'm going to make this a little choppy today, just because for the time sake of the demo, and I'll make a few errors here. And again, I would actually be looking in very close in detail, because you'll see that there are different parts of the building there that requires a little bit of more finessing. But I'm just going to do a very quick one today, so you get the idea of how to make a layer mask with a so you can put a different image in the background. So by no means would I be doing it this way in a real project. And I want to cut some of the building out just so you can see what I'm doing and some of the effects that goes on. And again, you got to remember where you started. And I want to make sure that's included. That's included. So I started that line right about here. And if you hover above it, you'll see that there's a little circle that says, I'm going to close this like that. So now I have my general shape of what I want to replace. Coming this step here, I would have always recommend is think about your feathering. Feathering kind of helps that line to become a hard line or a soft line. I chose this particular project because there's a lot of hard lines, so you shouldn't have to feather that much. But at least I would probably put at least a